Coming out of rookie minicamp, the Chicago Bears have signed 4 new players to the roster, and Scotty Miller, Kyron Hudson, Wayne Matthews III, and Jon Rhattigan. Are any of these players have a chance to actually make the final 53-man roster? Do Ryan Poles just add depth, or did he actually create some competition at any of these positions? We're going to talk a little bit about that. Plus, we got Dennis Allen talking about a possible reunion with Cam Jordan, and we'll see what is it that he's alluding to exactly. And Adam Schefter just pointed to some big Chicago Bears Week 1 news. We're going to talk about all that plus more right after this. What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And yeah, man, the Chicago Bears have now, coming out of rookie minicamp, have signed 4 players to deals and, camp deals, and we'll see if anything comes of this. Of the guys that they have signed, it's wide receivers Scotty Miller and Kyron Hudson, and linebackers Wayne Matthews and Jon Rhattigan. They also played wide receiver Squirrel White on the reserved retired list, so we'll see what that ends up happening with that one. But the Chicago Bears did report that, or it was previously reported that the Chicago Bears were signing Scotty Miller, a 7-year NFL veteran as well, who had one of the standouts in practice of rookie minicamp, where he made the play of the day, catching a deep pass from Maverick McIver, with that on that day. And Scotty Miller is somebody who has been around the NFL for a while, and we know that the Bears are looking to make sure that they have enough depth at that wide receiver room, right? I think that's a big part in it, and it's important when you look at the way that Ben Johnson likes to scheme and the system and all that type of stuff. Like, and I don't know if this points towards, and I don't want anybody to start acting like there's a lack of confidence, I think, in anybody in the wide receiver room. I think at this point, like, especially going through training camp and all that type of stuff in preseason, like, you're not going to see a lot of those guys, and so because of that, it opens up opportunities to bring in some more guys to add some needed depth to the Chicago Bears team. And really, that's what this is overall. Like, do I give Scotty Miller a chance to make the actual final 53-man roster? In any other situation, I probably would. But when you look at the Bears wide receiver room, of course we have Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, who are definitely going to be getting that. Like, there's no question about that. You have Jahade Walker, who made some big plays last year, albeit didn't play a whole hell of a lot. You got veteran Khalif Raymond, and then you got the rookie Xavier Thomas, right? That is already a deep wide receiver room, but having another added veteran in there that just can provide some confidence in it. This guy was a 6th-round pick in 2019. He stuck around the league. It's not like he's not a great player by any stretch of the imagination. He doesn't make or break your roster, but he can bring some much-needed depth. He has had seasons where a season where he had over 500 yards receiving. He has averaged 12.3 yards per reception over the course of his NFL career, and he has 6 touchdowns. So this is just, I think, to bring somebody in and to raise the floor a little bit, to have a little bit of a safety net if you don't feel as confident in Xavier Thomas to contribute in year 1. That's really what I kind of look at this signing to be for the Chicago Bears, and I've always kind of looked at this even when this was rumored. It's just a functional signing that it could end up being a camp deal. He could have not end up making the roster, and that's perfectly fine if it ends up not being that, right? But then when you look at, like, Miller, Rhattigan as well is another guy who's a veteran joining the team. He had a tryout last weekend as well. He entered the league as an undrafted free agent in 2021. He's played in 65 regular season games with the Seattle Seahawks from 2021 to 2023, some with the Carolina Panthers in 24, and the Pittsburgh Steelers and Raiders in 2025, where he primarily played on special teams, right? So it's just a guy. It is not, I don't mean that that comes off very disrespectfully, but it's a guy that just come in and, he may end up playing on special teams, may not end up making the roster. And then Hudson and Matthews both joined the Chicago Bears as undrafted rookies as well, and they'll get a chance to make an impression in training camp and preseason. Hudson started his college career at USC. He played his final season at Penn State. In his collegiate career, he had 95 receptions for 1,095 yards, 10 touchdowns in 53 career games. And Matthews spent time in Old Dominion from 21 to 23 and Michigan State in 2024 and 25. Had 254 total tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, and 47 career collegiate games. So that's what the Bears are adding here. Like I said, I don't want to overblow it. It's not like it's make or break for this team or anything like that. It just brings some added and some needed depth during training camp. Like, you don't want these guys to get hurt. And so you're adding in a little bit of extra padding on your roster, be able to get reps in, and that's really what it is. Let's get into the next the next topic, right? Dennis Allen talked about a potential reunion with Cam Jordan coming over to the Chicago Bears, right? Cam Jordan is a guy that, depending on who you talk to, there are some people like, oh my God, we can't bring him in. He's not a perfect defensive end. He's so old that you can't bring him in because of X, Y, Z. And here's the thing that I keep saying when people bring up all this type of stuff. This dude is still a very highly productive defensive end, even at his age and at the place where the Bears are, where they don't have a lot of money, right? I think people need to realize that the Bears don't have a lot of money. Adding a veteran that has the ceiling of still getting you 10 sacks, right? Like, that's the ceiling that you still have as a potential for this guy at this stage of the offseason. I'm not mad at it, right? It would be different if the Bears at the opening free agency, that was their first signing to bring in Cameron Jordan. They said this was going to be the guy that comes in and fix the defensive line and add so much to the pass rush. That's not what this is about at this point in time. What this is about, in potentially adding Cameron Jordan to this team, is simply about bringing in a guy that can raise the floor of your team, that can be a veteran that you can trust. So, at 10.5 sacks last year, he had 4 the year before that, 2 the year before that, 8.5, 12.5 the years before that, right? This is a guy that also plays games. Over the course of his NFL career, he's never missed more than one game in any given season. Never missed more than one game. He has played in 98% of the games over the course of his career. That has spanned 15 years. Do you know how consistent that is, right? Now, that's not to say that he doesn't get banged up. That's not to say that with his age, there isn't a lot of, there's some wear and tear on those tires. There absolutely is. But don't act like this kid, he's definitely not a kid. That's definitely not the case, right? But don't act like this guy is still not somebody who can be productive. And even if you do end up getting one of the years where it's a 4-sack season for him, for example, which, by the way, let's not act like that's the common factor for him. More times than not, he's averaged more 8.5 or more sacks more years of his career than he's had 5 or less, right? But even if you are getting one of the years where he has just a guy where he ends up just getting a 4 or 5 sack guy as a depth piece, that's not a bad thing. You are not bringing him in here to make or break your defensive line. You're bringing him in here to add some depth, some functional depth, and somebody that can get to the fucking quarterback and put some pressure on quarterbacks. And that's really what you're looking at in regards to that one. When you look at his NFL career, again, that spans 15 years. 15 years. He's only had 4 seasons in that. He's had less than 8 sacks. Yes, bring that to our team. So, I'm not mad at it, right? If that ends up being the case and the Bears can end up bringing him in. Not saying that it's a guaranteed thing either in regards to that, but this is like, sometimes I get it that Bears fans have been disappointed by what has happened or didn't happen this offseason. And I'm not taking that away from anything. But some Bears fans have this stance that you don't functionally understand adding depth and what that does to a football team. It's like people don't understand if you're not getting a star that they think that that's somebody that still can't help your football team. That's it, right? Now, for Dennis Allen, in the comment that Dennis Allen made in regards to this, he said this exactly. I don't know that there's been a lot of discussion about that. I think we feel pretty good about where we are and what we have. Yet, you never know what opportunities may present themselves at some point down the road. Now, the Bears have questions, right? Dayo Odeyingbo, we don't know exactly. A motivated Dayo, I don't give a shit about a motivated, antiquated, a blessed and sanctified Dayo Odeyingbo. I don't give a damn about none of that if it doesn't show up on the football field, right? Like, that's what Dayo Odeyingbo needs to do. And moving him more to the interior of the defensive line, I think is going to help him maximize on what he does best, right? But listen, you're still looking at Montez Sweat. You're still looking at Austin Booker. Dennis Allen's also talked about how, it's up to him as a coach to be better as a coach to get the fundamentals in there so they can do those things. But what Dennis Allen's system is predicated on, and I need people to understand this, being able to get sacks from your cornerback position isn't the same as coverage sacks. And there's so much misunderstanding about the X's and O's part of what Dennis Allen does with his cornerbacks. It's not coverage sacks that we're talking about with how Dennis Allen likes to use defensive backs. And I need people to understand that that's not what this is about. It's about using the speed of your cornerbacks and putting them sometimes as a linebacker, putting them in pass and run blitzing situations to help put some pressure on backfields. That is why Dennis Allen likes to have so many defensive backs out there. It's not to get coverage sacks. It's to get people in there that can actually use their speed and take advantage of the big bodies that you have up front to free up some things and to come in free and to put some pressure on some offenses. And that's what Dennis Allen is going to like to do. That's where I think it's really going to come down to. Yes, Dennis Allen talked about the technique part of it, upgrading this team, and that's right. But between the speed of Devin Bush, Ruben Hippolyte, having a guy like Jack Sanborn back in there as well, having your defensive backs, we're going to see a lot of creativity, I think, from Dennis Allen and how he schemes and tries to get pressure on quarterbacks this year. And that's what the Bears are going to have to do. They're going to have to find ways to execute that if they really want to take a step up from where they were before. Can they do it? That's the question that a lot of you guys have. And it's a very fair question that a lot of you guys have in regards to that because we haven't seen it. And I can't be mad at anybody that says something like, until I see it with my eyes, it's hard to trust it, Haize. Hey, listen, same, right? What have I said? It's the show me era with a lot of things, right? Like, show me, right? And if this coaching staff really feels like they have what they need, cool, great. You feel like you have what you need? Show me you have what you need by getting the production that you need from those guys. 35 sacks ain't going to cut it this year. It's just not. If you want to make a step up as a team, it's not going to cut it in the NFC North. It's not going to cut it in the NFC playoffs, and we'll see. The Bears are going to use this training camp and things like that to really evaluate what they had. Many people may remember when we added Yannick Ngakoue, and while he never really lived up to what the Bears wanted from him, the Bears went through a large portion of their offseason before they evaluated and realized, listen, we're missing this, we're missing that. We need to go out there and get it. Let's go out there and get this veteran that we think can bring some of what we're missing. And that's the flexibility that you want from your team, is to have the ability to go out there and get what you need and truly evaluate and say, hey, coming into this, we had some confidence. We feel a little bit of extra confidence if we can add a little bit more to this. And maybe that ends up bringing Cam Jordan. Maybe it ends up being, maybe it's not. Maybe Austin Booker absolutely delights, dazzles, and wows in training camp, and they feel extremely confident. Maybe Jordan Vandenberg shows enough to where they feel like his speed is going to be able to add some added depth. They talked about moving Shamar Turner and playing him more at edge, a position that he played some in college. Whatever needs to get done, I don't give a damn what you need to do to get it done. Find a way to get it done. The coaching staff is asking us to believe in their coaching and what they're going to get out of this roster. Show us. And that's just the reality of it. You show us, we'll be happy with it. Go out there and produce, and let's take the next step as a franchise, as a team, and let's get to where the hell we need to get to, please. Thank you very much. That's all I can say in regards to that one. Let me know what you guys feel on that part down below. With that said, let's move on, right? The Chicago Bears have also, Sam Roush has been somebody that's talked a lot about with the Chicago Bears and what he's going to be able to do or not. The fact that the Bears drafted another tight end, what that means for Cole Kmet. Well, Press Taylor, the Chicago Bears offensive coordinator, said this in regards to Sam Roush and his role in 2026, saying this: to be determined. That's the fun part about it. We don't have a game for 4 months. So just seeing where it can go with us. We'll figure out what Sam's strengths are, how he complements those other tight ends, and then use as many tight ends as our personnel groupings as we need to attack whatever defense we're seeing that week. And I think that's really what this is about, right? Like this year, we'll see what happens in the future. If Sam Roush ends up replacing Cole Kmet, whatever it ends up being, we'll see what happens in regards to that. But this season, at least, it's about exploring mismatches and opening yourself up to the personnel that you can have out there on the field. Colston Loveland is going to line up some as a slot receiver this year. It's going to happen. It happened some last year. It's going to happen some this year. And so the ability to move Colston Loveland to slot and still have two solid tight end options out there that both can block and both can catch passes as well, it just opens up so much to the potential of what the offense can do and the weaponry for Caleb Williams. I talked a lot about how, tight ends become a safety valve for quarterbacks. That is the thing that you can pull glass in case of emergency. That's what you can see in regard to that, right? And I think Cole Kmet as well, like 2025 saw his lowest snap count at 768, the lowest catches of his career at 30, and the lowest receiving yards since his rookie season in 2020 at 347, right? The emergence of Colston Loveland has already put Cole Kmet in a spot to where he's just not used the same way as he's been used over the course of his career, right? Chicago ranked 6th in 12 personnel usage at 32.6% of the time. So, while that is a huge chunk, over almost third of your offense coming from a 12-man personnel, So you want to be able to explore that more. And Colston Loveland has already shown himself to be such a potential versatile weapon for this Bears team and how he can be used all over the field that you want to maintain that with still opening up more how you can use Colston Loveland. That's what this is about, right? So this is an area of strength for the team. You want to build off your strengths if you want to get to the next level. And that's what the Sam Roush draft pick was about. It's about putting you in a situation where you can build off the strength that you made the 12-man personnel for you last year. And that's what the Bears are trying to do here. It's not rocket science. They aren't trying to reinvent the wheel here. And yes, I mean that came by not addressing the edge, right? But at the end of the day, like it seems to me, my personal opinion is that the Bears feel like this offense can truly take the step to elite. The defense may not take that. The defense may take a more functional step, but this offense is trying to become a truly elite offense in this year, and the 12-man personnel and the flexibility of how you use Colston Loveland is definitely part of that, right? And so that's what this Bears team is trying to do. That's what Ben Johnson wants to do, and that's what Ryan Poles afforded Ben Johnson and Press Taylor in their preparation and play calling by this Sam Roush draft pick. It's up to Sam Roush to show that he can do that, how he can help this team in year one, and up to Ben Johnson and Press Taylor to find the ways to creatively use that to get this offense to the next level. That's what this is all about. And so building off your strengths is never a bad thing, because if you want to take that next step, you have to make your strengths even stronger and make your weaknesses stronger as well. Now, if the offense takes that truly elite step, at some point you're going to lose some players in the offense. We have to replace DeAndre Swift. We'll see what happens in regards to that. But at the end of the day, the defense eventually has to be addressed. And so while it seemed like they made marginal improvements on the defense, they did make improvements on the defense. They took some steps in becoming a faster and more functional defense. Now it becomes about health and evaluating better in health with your defensive backs. But, then next year could be a very heavy focus on the defense. Now, we thought that coming into this one, so we'll see what that means. But overall, that's the hope when it comes down to it. And let's hope that as we make the step and progress as a team, we're seeing the results of that and getting to where we need and want to be as a football team and program. Let's hope for that, right? With that said, last topic of the day, there's been a lot made about the Chicago Bears and are they going to be facing off against the Seattle Seahawks on opening night? This one comes from Adam Schefter, who says this: my guess right now is that it will be the Bears in Seattle for Wednesday night opener against the Seahawks. And so this isn't the first time that we've heard this, right? This is probably now the third, fourth, fifth time that we've heard that this is going to happen. And so the Chicago Bears opening up their season against the Super Bowl defending Seattle Seahawks opens up for a lot, right? The thing that in me being in this fan base for the entirety of my life, one thing that I can tell you is that there's going to be an overreaction to this one way or another, right? There's absolutely going to be that. Meaning, if the Bears come in and handle the Seattle Seahawks, they're going to be Bears fans. Oh my God, we are going to be a Super Bowl contender. Did you see what we did in that night? That's going to be effing amazing. We are going to go out here. We just proved that we're Super Bowl contenders. And then there are going to be people that if the Bears do happen to lose this game opening night on Wednesday, if that ends up being the case, they're going to be like, see, look, I know we should have addressed the pass rush. We didn't. We're not a real contender. We're a pretender. No matter what the Bears did, we didn't. There's going to be overreactions either way, right? When the reality of it is that this is a long season. No matter what or who we open our season, or if we open it with a win or a loss, it doesn't automatically dictate how the rest of the season is going to go for the Chicago Bears. There are going to be reactions one way or another. I look at this and say that more so than anything, what I take away from this is that the NFL, if this ends up being the case, realizes that the Chicago Bears are a premium ticket this year, right? And the number of primetime games that we get this year is going to be fucking legit. And that is right, because you know what? I try to be humble about this. This isn't podcaster Haize. This is Bears fan Haize. Let me fan out for a moment. We fucking deserve this, right? The Bears, out of how the national media covers, the Bears bias, all this type, we fucking deserve this. The Bears fans have sat through 20 years of marginal success at best that we've had over that time period. And now the fact that we have a head coach, now the fact that we have a franchise quarterback, now the fact that we did win a playoff game, now the fact that we did win a division with a chance, had we been tighter to win the NFC, we fucking deserve this. Now, it is up to the Bears to not take this opportunity and then look like shit in that opportunity, but at the same time, we deserve this. This is a sign and the indication that the NFL world is finally waking up to the fact that the Chicago Bears are fucking legit, right? Now, I've told you guys many times before, it doesn't fucking matter what the national media thinks about the Chicago Bears. They can take their opinion, ball it up, roll it up, and shove it in their ass. I don't give a fuck about it. But when we know the opponents that are already on the Chicago Bears team, the fact that 12 out of our 17 opponents had winning records or were playoff teams last year, This is going to be a year where if the Bears live up to expectations, that people are going to have to realize and eat their crow on what they think the Chicago Bears are. But at the same notion of that, if the Chicago Bears do fail with these primetime games that are coming in, these games against these former winning teams, oh, best believe the doubt and the hate are coming even stronger. That's just the reality of it. That's what you deal with, right? But I tell you what, I'd rather be in this position and have to deal with that than be in the position that we've been in for years, where we got to hear bullshit from dumbass people that we don't respect, that don't love that don't care about the Chicago Bears and just care about the story. I'm tired of being used as a story to rage bait Bears fans. It's time for us to start putting motherfuckers in the dirt. And that's what hopefully this season is going to be about for the Chicago Bears. Fan Haize done. Podcast over. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Bears Central. What do you guys think about the 4 signings that the Bears made? What do you think about the potential of bringing in Cam Jordan to this team to add some depth at the edge? And with Cole Kmet still being here on this roster, and the Press Taylor talking about what that does to open up them schematically, what are you expecting from Cole Kmet, Sam Roush, and Colston Loveland as a tight end room overall in this season? Let me know what you guys think on that down below. Make sure you guys are following, or make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode or an upload. You can follow us at Chi Bear Central on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.